late elementary school, like middle school, and they would have like those like chapsticks and lip balms with the flavors, and you would
Yeah.
try to eat them because they smelled nice.
Okay, I never tried to eat. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, because that was a big thing here. People would like take bites out of their lip smackers, and then yeah.
So I think the closest that I had to that was I did have this nail polish that was edible because they knew that children were going to eat it, so it was flavored and it was
Yeah, that
pineapple.
makes sense.
But like that's just,
Pineapple.
it was pineapple. Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hello,
the Yaoi
hi.
Shelf Live. Uh, we're talking about eating our makeup because I did a quick lipstick check on my teeth before we came online. There's a little peek behind how the sausage is made. You've heard that euphemism.
I have. I have.
You
I
have
was just
heard.
thinking. I was just thinking of you on Twitter earlier this week with that sausage gif.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
which
saw
is
that.
which is a gif of Lindsay Ellis.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
realize. I'm
girl, you are
trying.
so focused.
I am trying to write down the questions, okay, so that I
You
can have
are
them easily
you are
accessible.
so focused on this.
I am
Are you
just trying to. Okay,
are you good?
I'm good. Everything
Okay.
is good. I mean, I'm not good. I'm lying. I'm actually freezing my ass off, but you know.
Oh my god. It's not even cold over there, is it?
Supposedly it's hot today, but I didn't notice that when I was out walking with my friend because the sun wasn't out and it was really windy. So now I'm like, I'm very cold. I'm putting on my arm warmers
Oh my gosh, you poor thing. Hello.
because there's hello, hi. That's the friend I was out with.
Oh, it's not cold over there.
It is. You weren't there. You don't know. You don't know
Did
what
you
it was
just,
like.
you weren't there, me? How dare you?
You weren't there.
I
Oh my
wasn't, you're
god.
right. So we're here to talk about writing BL and being super famous BL writers.
Yes.
Uh, mm, mm.
God. Okay, let me just not call anyone by accident.
Corolla just going through it today with our Instagram.
I'm struggling so hard.
Uh, Before anyone asks the question, yes, I do have a bandage on my thumb. Um, I was trying to use my dermaplaner and I opened it wrong. So I opened it blade side in.
Oh,
And anyone who uses a dermaplaner knows those are very sharp.
what is it with this week? Because I burned these three fingers on the stove the other day, like spectacularly. It was so painful. I just wanted to lay down and die. It's fine now. I have blisters, like because it's right in the joint.
Oh, ew.
It was so painful. I was just like, I hate this.
Oh my
Because
gosh, you poor.
I missed the handle. I was gonna open the stove and then somehow when I was closing it, I touched the actual stove instead of the handle.
How do you
It was
do that?
awful. I don't know.
How
I
does
have
that
no
even?
idea.
I don't.
It was
Okay.
awful.
So we are both doing our best here. We're gonna fight all of the imposter syndrome to talk
The
about. What was that sound?
imposter syndrome.
I was like, what was that noise, ma'am or sir?
I'm sorry. No,
No,
it's
you're
fine. I'm
good.
good. I'm
No,
good.
you're good.
I very confident in my writing abilities.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, comments, you listen to the episode, all the juicy details. Do we have juicy details about being writers?
Do
I
we?
mean, don't look at me like that. don't
What are
don't look at
your
me.
secrets, Amanda? I don't have any.
I need
Uh,
Do I have secrets? I mean, yes, I do have secrets. Uh, I don't know. I guess like for me, the only like big secret that I have is like the amount of research that I put into like dumb things that no one cares about.
Yeah, you're pretty. You're well known for that. I've heard your stories of your
Bl- Bliss and makeup.
your Hetalia rabbit holes, looking into
Listen,
random French. No, but it's good. It's good.
like, and I don't know. It's one of those things that like as a writer, I really like being cryptic about that stuff. Like I do want it to be so well done that no one really notices. But I
Mm.
also want someone to notice a lot so I can talk about it. Like it's very, very weird because like there's a part of me that wants it to be so seamless that like you just run with it and no one has any questions. Like it's just it's that good, right?
Mm.
But there's another part of me that really wants to be asked about the effort that I put in translating maps and calculating distances and reading historical texts.
Yes.
I was watching 80 Saint Seiya, but looked at my phone and realized it was, oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Uh, so like it's I guess like that's my like juicy detail is that there's a lot of me that like kind of wants to be asked about this stuff,
Mm.
but I also feel like grossly narcissistic if I were to
Oh
prompt
yeah.
anyone because like
Yeah.
it does feel a little Buffalo Bill that it's like, do you want to ask about my writing methodology? Do you want
Oh my
to
god.
ask about my characterization? You know,
Calm down, Buffalo Bill.
right? Like it does feel a little like gross, like autogynephilic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but
Like
I get that. Because I'm like, I'm not
the
I'm
red
not
lipstick does
on
not help that.
no. Not on the like it's not on the like the details and the research and everything for me,
Yeah,
but it's like I want to talk about the characters. I really want,
yeah,
everyone to be like super into my characters and ask me questions like,
right,
what's their favorite food and like these mundane
right.
details like and then
We all know how the sausage is made.
yes. No, and I really want that, but then I can't prompt people on it.
Yeah,
I don't want to
I would
like
rather fling myself into traffic
I know,
before
right?
I fucking ask someone. I feel you the amount of visceral joy I get when my mom or grandma asks about one of my characters, but the same hand, I feel like I'm being humored, which is yeah, I get that way
Yeah.
sometimes too. Like I was just talking about my aunts before we went live. They're on a cruise, so they can't hear me. Um, so they can't hear me. Um,
Are you
and
sure?
uh, they were talking about getting the Wi-Fi package. If they are listening, please enjoy Mexico. Um, but you know, they're very supportive of like me liking anime and me being a cosplayer because like there's money in it. So like
Mm.
now, and I guess like to them, I'm not a serial killer or like a bad sexual deviant. They know I'm a sexual deviant, but like not like a negative sexual deviant. I'm not Buffalo Bill. So
No.
so now they're like, "Oh my gosh, I want to hear all about your podcast." It's like, "No you don't. Don't
No, you really don't.
don't fucking talk down to me like I'm a child. No you don't. No you don't. You don't. And that's fine. I don't want to tell you about my podcast because it's an hour and a half of me talking about Yashiro's asshole while
Yes.
looking very pretty.
Yes.
And then Corolla's in a corner screeching about gravitation or Ken Porsche.
Or Miritama.
You haven't been talking a lot about Miritama. I'd almost
No.
forgotten
No,
that
no,
you
no.
liked them.
It's there. I
It's
haven't
still
seen
there?
I mean, to be fair, I haven't been on Twitter as much recently because I'm so busy. I'm just like, I
You
don't
are
even
busy.
know. I am
You've been
so sad.
doing stuff.
Yeah, and I was telling people yesterday that like I've had something every single day this week, and next
You
week I want to
have.
do nothing. And then I
Mhm.
realized tomorrow I have to go to the doctors to get a blood sample, and then I have
Ooh.
a meeting on Tuesday, a meeting on Wednesday, and I'm like, well then, I
I
guess.
remember Like, here's a peek behind the curtain. We were talking about maybe like taking a summer off. We're not because we're idiots. But Corolla was like, I wonder if we can like take a month off. And it's like, oh, we can't do that. We have like obligations that are already planned.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I should take August off because I'll be busy with the con. And then it was like, wait, because we're doing Citrus
We're
Con in
doing
August.
CitrusCon,
So yeah.
which we open this up to our patrons early, but we can open it up to the general audience now. If there's something that you'd particularly like to hear us, lipstick went into brain, talk about, oh, Sansa. I was like, what the fuck is that?
No, he's here. He
Uh,
noticed me talking, so now he needs to join.
Now he needs to be a part of it. Oh, I love that cat so much. If there's a specific topic or anything you want to really hear us cover or talk about, let us know. We are open to suggestions. We have an idea of what we want to talk about, but we also, uh, or at least I have managed to pitch us a new episode like once every day this week.
Yeah, you've been on fire.
Thank you. He's great. I
I
love this cat.
I love him, but you know
I know you love him.
I
He's a
do
little
love him.
terror. He's a little
He's
terror.
But yeah, no, we
Um,
want to know if there's anything we should talk about that we may not have thought about. Amanda's been on fire this week. So many good ideas coming my way. I love it.
I
You
did a little.
practically like, yeah, you practically plan out the next quarter already.
I just did a little wiggle. So there's a sex worker that I follow. This is going somewhere, and especially like when he was in costume and like getting praise, he would do this like little wiggle, and it was like the cutest thing.
Ugh.
So he's just like sitting there dressed up as like a very hot character, and just like reading all of the praise, and he just like little wiggle, and it's like, here's $5 more. I'm the dirty old man from all the hentai. Let me see that ass, boy. Sends money. My cat
And of
also
course,
got invested.
we
And
and
I'm
we
on the
all
phone.
know we
We
all
all
know that
know.
you're doing this in the public library.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes. I
know.
am. Yes. Yes. I think like the first time I did that, I did feel like very gross. Like I did feel like a gross old man. And
But
now, huh?
you are a gross old man. Okay.
I have mascara on today, so my eyes look like they have depth and dimension.
I also have.
Yeah, I have on mascara today. So yeah, ask us questions about writing, the writing process, our adventures and misadventures in writing. Ask us
Ooh.
about our OCs. Shut up.
I read that in Nurse John's voice. But yes, do ask us about our characters. We did
Yeah.
get a couple of questions on Instagram.
Do you want to do that right off the
We
bat?
we can do that.
Okay, let's do
Okay.
that.
So I think we actually asked each other this one for
Okay.
Patreon, but what do you find to be the hardest part of writing?
Um, being done writing.
Being done writing.
Well, because like I have a bad habit of like the minute I finish something, I'm on to the next thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like I finished my big gravitation series and like immediately I was planning like sequels and prequels because I
Mm.
wasn't done with
Yeah,
those
you're not
characters.
emotion.
I
Yeah.
wasn't done with that world. And I guess like so there was this little girl who was a serial killer in England. I am going to thread this through and I will land the plane. Uh you know who I'm
I
talking
know.
about.
Yeah, I do.
And like in one of the things that she wrote about being a little serial killer, which is I killed to stay alive. Like I keep writing these worlds because I'm afraid to let them die. Like at this
Oh
stage, like
yeah,
they're,
yeah, yeah.
and yes,
Yeah.
I am talking about Mary Bell, if you are curious.
Yes.
Horrible little serial killer child. Um, but like I'm afraid to let these things go. So like I stopped that big gravitation series. It's easily over 100,000 words. It's hundreds of pages. And then immediately on to like sequels, prequels, side stories
Mm,
because I'm
yeah.
not ready to let that go.
Yeah, I get that. I have kind of the same thing, but I also need to like digest a little bit before I move
Yeah,
on to the next one.
I
But I also want
probably
to
should digest.
say but I mean there are various ways of doing that. And sometimes writing, you know, side stories
Hmm.
is like a way of digesting. I what like right now with how my life is going, I want to say the hardest part is actually writing, like actually sitting down to do it. But actually probably the hardest part is
Editing.
editing. All the after work, I hate it.
Oh my
I
god,
hate it. I'm
kill
so
me.
bad at
I'm
it.
so bad at it. But also, I would rather die than send it to someone else to look at.
Yeah,
Like the
like I
idea
will
of my work being betaed now, I would rather shoot myself.
I have like I do like 3 or 4 edits on my own, like rounds of edits before I send it anywhere. So
Hmm.
now, like now I'll have like I'll do 4 or so edits on my own, and then I'll have like groups of test readers and I'll send it to
Hmm.
them, and then I'll edit based on their feedback and based on
Hmm.
whatever they find. And then maybe after another round of that, I'll do the actual editor. Like it's a process. And but first, I need to spend an odd number of months ignoring the script before I actually get there because I
Mood, mood, mood
I
insane.
hate it so much. It's like, but it's so weird. It's just like because I really do like I do enjoy reading through and
I
like,
don't.
but I just don't like editing
I
and like making
as soon
changes.
as as soon as I'm done, it's like a cum rag. I never want to see it again. It's in the trash. I don't want to acknowledge it. I don't know. I'm finished. Like it literally is. Was it Oscar Wilde that compared it to like expending yourself? It was some gay writer. It was probably
Yeah.
Oscar Wilde. But like yeah, like I'm done. Like in that way, like with the
Mm.
post production part. But also again, like at the same time, I would rather die than have it baited. Can we answer this one question before we go back to Instagram?
Yeah,
Oh, thank you for giving me permission on this show that I host with you. How gracious of you.
I know. I'm
Uh,
feeling generous
oh, thank
today.
you. I have this issue where I personally have a hard time with bridge scenes, like getting from major point A to major point B. Any tips? Um,
Dead silence.
no, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this without sounding schizophrenic. Um, think about how your characters would get there. Would
Mm.
they take a straight path? What obstacles could they possibly in universe and not in a contrived way face? Do those obstacles feel very big to them when really they're not?
Mm.
Would they end up getting lost and ending up having to like spend a bonding night in a cave or something? Like ground it in the canon of your series and in the canon of your characters, because Corolla and I are both very character centric writers.
Mm.
Like we'll enter a fugue state and not know what the ending ends up being.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So let them dictate. Would they take a straight path and be like, we're
Mm.
going straight to fucking Moria? What does that look like?
Yeah, and I also if you can't imagine it like right then and there, what I like to do is like sometimes you'll figure it out as you go. Maybe something will happen, the characters will have an
Hmm.
experience that
Hmm.
that can echo back, that you can
Hmm.
anchor in something that happened earlier, but you might not know what
Hmm.
that thing is. So I like to do, instead of getting stuck between point A and point B, I'll put square brackets and I'll just write put something here.
Yeah,
Like if
stuff
if
happens.
yeah, like if it's a character name you don't have yet, or if it's like a
Yeah,
scene you're missing, or something you just can't put your finger on, I put it in brackets and
I do too.
change the text color to red so I'll find it,
Hmm.
and then I will go back to it when I have a more clear idea of what's happening, because I can't be
Right.
bothered getting tripped up by this part that I haven't figured out yet. So just keep moving
Absolutely.
and it will come to you.
And this is a great time to lean on some resources that you might have from other nerdy things. So, like, I used to do tabletop RPG, which shocks no one. So, like, map, shut. Up, Corolla.
I said nothing. I'm just
I
everyone
felt it.
everyone around me does tabletop RPGs. So no, I'm not shocked because I'm the only nerd in existence who doesn't.
Do you want to play
Apparently.
Vampire the Masquerade with me?
No, I don't want to play games. I don't like games.
What? So my point was, my point was, is that map building. One of my favorite things is people that will like spill coffee on a piece of
Oh
paper
yeah.
and use that to draw an outline of a map. So now you have a physical idea of what A to B looks like if it's a journey or something like that, or even if it's a metaphysical journey. Now you have an idea of what that looks like, what the hills, valleys, crests look like. So, yeah, let's see. Oh, the bracket idea is great. I'm also very character based in writing. I have a vague plot. We all do.
I mean,
we all,
there is a plot in there somewhere trying to figure out what it is.
that's literally every writer. I have a vague plot in mind.
Yeah. And another thing that I do sometimes that because not only am I character driven, a lot of my writing is mostly dialogue driven. So try maybe taking your characters like out of the like not in the actual writing, like not in the actual series or the actual script, but like imagine a conversation between them. Like how would they talk about this thing? Like let them talk it out in
Mm-hmm.
a different document, for instance, and
Mm-hmm.
see how they deal with it looking at it from the outside, and maybe that will get you somewhere. My characters and I have conversations all the time, which makes me feel like a slight lunatic, but it helps.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll surprise you because, like, yeah, like it was interesting because as you started talking about that, like, I had characters in the back of my head that were like, yeah, you go straight and you deal with it, but I also know them and they would get lost immediately. And
Yeah.
for all of their bravado, saying we're just going to go to the goal, they wouldn't know where the goal is if it was like a video game and there was a giant floating beacon that said goal at the end.
Yes.
Do we have another question from Instagram?
We do. Let's see.
Just Wiggles today.
Wrinkles. Do you have any go-to things for general inspiration in general? Wait, what? And or for trying to get out of a writing slump?
Mental illness.
The answer to everything, cannot recommend it. But yes.
Manic episode.
God. I don't recommend having a manic episode.
The host of the Yaoi Shelf cannot recommend mental illness. Um, you know, I'm lucky that because of how I write, I don't have to force myself. So
Yeah.
if I'm not feeling inspired, I just don't. Because I find that unless I want to, this is going to sound way more sexual than I want it to. Unless I want it to be forced, I'm not. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. Who am I kidding?
Unless I want it to be like I am under pressure, I am under a deadline. And again, I have to want that. I have to want to have created that scenario. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. So I'm very fortunate that how I write, at least in the creative sense, I don't have to make myself. But when I do, honestly, I really like going to art museums. Like, I know that sounds kind of gay, but
Gay on the Yaoi Shelf? What?
um, with my 3 pairs of bisexual pride socks.
Ooh.
I really like going to art museums. Like my local art museum here in San Antonio is one of my favorite museums, like in the state. And just going and like sitting around art and like going to the coffee shop across the street and like being a metropolitan little gay. And then I come home and I feel like rejuvenated. I feel like I don't know why that was led chest forward. I feel renewed.
Yes.
Do you have any advice that isn't mental illness, Corolla?
Uh, I I mean, as for inspiration, I mean, you can't force inspiration,
No,
I
you
think.
can't. You can't.
I generally like I'm like this treasure goblin. I just pick things up everywhere. So it will be like, suddenly I'm listening to a song and it's like, oh, that fits those characters, or I want to write
Mm-hmm.
a scene like that, or you know, there is something I come across something somewhere and
Mm-hmm.
I hold on to it. I have this horribly long list of like notes of like words I want to use or phrases I want to use, like
Mm-hmm.
weird inspiration that just hit me somewhere that I just put down, and then hopefully I'll get to write it out. But I don't really get writing slumps. I mean, I do realize that I'm complaining in every single episode that I'm not writing anything, but that's a time issue, really. And like an energy issue. I don't really have writing slumps in that sense, but
Yeah.
I can't force myself unless it's, like there is NaNoWriMo where it's like I have to write,
But I
but
would also argue that like your coping strategies during nano are not healthy or sustainable.
no. Which is why I try to
Like
do
I
it as
say that
fast
with
as possible.
love. Like I say
Yeah,
that
I
with
know.
love and like having watched you do it. Like I would argue that how you get through nano isn't a sustainable strategy.
It really isn't. It's like I can't do it for more than a couple of days because then I will likely give myself a caffeine shock and or burn the house down because at some point I don't know which switch on the stove does what anymore. So there's that. But but I can't force myself to write
Mm-hmm.
creatively. Like if it is something like you said, like that has a deadline, like an essay or whatever, then you just, grit your teeth and suffer through it, just push through it. But I don't do
Mm-hmm.
that with creative writing because I want to enjoy it. And the moment it starts feeling like something I have to force, then I lose all joy and I can't do it anymore. So it's, I think if you are in a slump, don't try to force it. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like take a break, do something else, look for something that gives you joy and
Mm-hmm.
rejuvenates you so that you
Mm-hmm.
get maybe what you need is a rest so that you can get back into it on.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
also I'll say like there's an amazing like intimately social aspect of writing. So like I have a muse. We used to date, but we're still friends. It's possible. It is possible.
Yes. Yeah.
And like she was always like my biggest champion for my writing while we were dating and even before we started dating. So like now she really encourages me to write, but it's not in a predatory way. She's not like poking me with a cattle prod like make porn. She's she knows that this is genuinely something that I usually want to do, but because of mental illness or burnout or physical time constraints, I can't always make time. So when I say, when I'm lamenting in our oh, I want to write, she's like, okay, well, go do it.
Mhm.
Like you're sitting here bitching, like go do it. Like, but again, like this is from decade plus of knowing each other. Like I couldn't have like a
Mhm.
random person be like, how's that
Oh no.
manuscript coming, and be like, eat my ass. Like I couldn't have like a
No, no, no.
rando be like, so how's that writing going, sweet cheeks? It's like anger squint.
Well, it's not happening now, that's for
It's like, well,
sure.
it's certainly not happening now, and just sitting there out of like,
Out of
so
spite,
right.
not writing.
Don't judge me.
Huh?
I saw how you looked at that straw grab.
I was looking. I don't understand.
You are a liar. One time when I was in a writing slump, I just went to a different doc. Yeah, there is so
Yeah.
much power in just like doing something else.
Yeah.
Like I was supposed to be writing this thing for my blog where I talk about trigun stuff, and now I'm just writing plant cest.
I mean,
I
you're
was
still
supposed I was supposed to be talking about like head cannons and race and stuff. And now I'm just writing plant cest.
you're at least you're still in the same vicinity, like
I am.
thematically.
Yeah,
You're
I'm no, just it's like, hey, remember that blog post that you're supposed to work on that's like with a lot of heart and thought about like, representation and POCs and why everyone thinks that Wolfwood's Hispanic, even though he's literally just a man in the sun. Everyone thinks he's Hispanic, and that's a great headcanon. It's a great headcanon. Don't yell at anyone for saying, don't forget his melanin. He's a man in the sun. He's a literal man in the sun who's not wearing socks.
I still have very little knowledge of Wolfwood.
He's not wearing socks. Out of all of the crazy decisions made in Stampede, he is wearing Vans with no socks.
That's a choice.
His feet have to be awful. That's such a turnoff. Like, I can't sexualize him anymore. He has to have the worst fucking, like, foot fungus living in the desert wearing Vans with no socks. That's not a hot twink anymore. That's a gym bro with a problem.
Oh my god.
His feet have to be so fucking gnarly. Just like claws and shit. He's not wearing socks. It's hot, Corolla.
Yes. Listen, my feet chafe just looking at a pair of shoes without wearing socks in them. So I don't understand. I don't know.
Thank you. It's like, so there was this thing that so I know you don't watch this show, but The Wonderful World of Gumball. There's a goldfish named Darwin, but he's also like a goldfish person. He's a part of the family. He's like the adopted third child. So everyone kind of knew that Darwin was black, mostly just because of like headcanon. But then the series creator canonized Darwin being black. Like as a human, he's a black kid. And it's like, yay, he's black. But also like in series canon, he's a goldfish. So it doesn't fucking matter. Like, how about instead of headcanoning these characters as a race, we respectfully bully Western creators just to have more representation? I don't need the goldfish to be black. I need other characters to be black. It's nice that the goldfish is black. That's lovely. That's good for the goldfish. But he's a fucking goldfish. It's great that people look at Nicholas D. Wolfwood and because he's Catholic, because he has fat tits, because he's a general womanizer and ladies' man, and they see a Hispanic uncle. That's wonderful. I am happy that you see all of that in him. He is a man in the desert. He's a white guy in the desert, and it doesn't take away from how Aryan Vash and knives are supposed to look.
But also, aren't they like in space, or are they even Earthlings? Okay.
Yes. I don't have time to explain.
Debating whether Hispanic actually exists in the Trigun verse, but I know nothing yet. So
start me. We will never stop.
Okay.
Yes, the Western behavior of this character is black, but they're not actually human 98% of the time. We're not going to talk about Princess and the Frog because that's just Disney being afraid of black people. Because remember, Prince Naveen is not of African descent. He's from a fictional land that isn't Africa.
I will say though that I absolutely adore Prince Naveen, and I feel like they finally made a Disney prince for me because he's such.
You would love that dumb himbo.
I love that dumb himbo so much.
I'm saying, like, you would love that dumb himbo.
Yeah, but it's like I love that film. I love that film. I've never cared about. I think it's Maladonia. No, I think it's Maladonia, which sounds like a country that you only hear about during Eurovision or something.
Yeah, it does sound like one of those made-up European countries that only exist.
But I I've never cared about Disney princes because generally they tend to have no personality, And then Prince Naveen showed up, and I was like, yes.
And he has all the personality, and he has a gay little ukulele, and
this is my prince. Here he
I
is, finally.
you're,
I mean, he's an idiot. What's
he's
not to love?
really
He's a
dumb.
complete
He's
moron.
really like the whole plot contrivance of that being like he meets a voodoo shadow man, which let's just run in the logic of the series. You might not know he's a voodoo shadow man, but if you walk up to Dr. Facilier, do you trust him?
No,
Like
but he's a moron. He's
he's like, huh, this voodoo shadow man that literally everyone around me has said don't trust or talk to. I think he makes some great points.
yeah.
Put her there. You know?
Oh, he's so
Yeah,
stupid. I love that in a
I
man.
I appreciate that himbo as well. Shang and Naveen are the only
Oh
Disney men
yeah,
I stand
Shang.
behind, and Gaston. I think Gaston has some very valid points because all he knows is that there is a monster in a castle. That's his limited knowledge. He doesn't know that the monster is secretly an incel and was once human and is really sensitive and kind. He doesn't know that. He just knows there's a monster in a fucking castle and the monster has the one woman he wants to fuck.
But he's also, I think this is funny. When I was a kid, I really hated Gaston because I was apparently super feminist as a kid. I was like, oh my God, he's awful with all of his, oh, soon they'll have thoughts and opinions of their own. And then I grew up and I think he's fucking hilarious, which is
Yeah,
sad
he's
because
just most of the guys I meet on dating apps.
yeah, and like now there are so many more people like that out there, and I feel like he should make me more angry now, but
I
I just think he's
know.
funny. But
Like
like
I
he's
I mean,
awful,
I
but
think his approach is wrong, but like, yeah, that guy's definitely like tried to call me his mocha chocolate ebony princess on Tinder at 3 o'clock in the morning. Corolla, you
mm,
have no idea what I've dealt with.
no, I don't because I generally stay away from everything.
Amanda, he has 3 women throwing themselves at him. They're begging. And you don't fuck the beggars. He's a high value man.
But what if he's into that? Do you know the amount of porn I've read where they're all like beg? I mean, they like a lot of people like it
I
when you
mean,
when you
but
beg.
like they don't have any personality. Clearly, he wants Belle because she's a child. Why do I sound like fucking Ben Shapiro defending Gaston? We're gonna move
Don't
on.
what is happening?
We're gonna move on.
Okay.
I sound like fucking so there is this like very, very niche content that I love and hate because it's AI deepfakes, which I have huge ethical and moral concerns about. But a recent one that I fell down the rabbit hole of is AI deepfakes, but of people talking about like Lolita fashion. So there's one with like Ben Shapiro, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden all talking about Lolita fashion. And it's cursed, but it is so niche and so fucking funny. Where like you have like an AI deepfake of Donald Trump saying that's not very kawaii of you to Joe Biden.
Well, like
Like it's
this is
awful. But
this is a
like
corner of the internet I have not encountered. Oh my god. You're awful.
yes, I am. This has been well
Yeah, you
established.
are. You are.
Do we have any more questions from Instagram? Were those the only two?
Uh, no, there's one more.
Oh, yes, let's go.
People send us more questions.
Yeah,
This is sad.
ask us things.
Um, what is your parenthesis least end parenthesis favorite thing to write? So I guess that's favorite versus least favorite. That's a loaded question.
That's a real loaded question. Um, I do like writing smut. What was that? What was
No,
what was
same.
that?
I mean, it's fun. It's fun
I
writing
do like
smut.
writing smut. Uh, don't make me describe an interior or a building. Don't make me describe a room or like a setting or a background. I will die. I am so bad at establishing, like through exposition.
Mm,
I am so bad at establishing place. Now I'll usually like work it in somehow. It's like, oh, his boot hit the back of the bed before he did. Like I'm usually pretty good at like trying to work it in so like no
mm.
one's floating in a nothing space. But like don't sit here and make like the bed lifted slightly from the floor was flush against the window, parallel to two matching, fucking A, just die. Just just fucking end me.
I
I
mean,
have
good
to do
point.
that. I have to do that right now in the plant cest fic I'm writing, where I have to establish the place that everyone is in, and
Mm.
I'm just as bored as Vash is describing it, where it's like it's a fucking building.
See, this is one of the reasons I prefer to put things in an existing world and not do fucking world building. I'll be like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to spend pages upon pages explaining what something looks like or how it functions. Like yeah, I'm not good at it. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Either you're gonna get a Silmarillion
Yeah,
level of detail about one fucking piss alley in New York, or you're gonna accept that they're in a nothing space and you imagine it how you want to.
yeah.
They're in a nothing
That's
space. Nothing fucking matters. All that matters is that they're fucking. Because the
yes.
smut's going to be good. You're not going to care that you don't know what window that bed's against.
Yeah,
But also, I would never put a bed against a window. That's bad feng shui.
I know nothing about that.
That's dumb writer dogma. Never put a bed against a window.
Okay, mortal sins I've committed. Apparently,
You put a bed against a window?
yes, because when I grew up, I had my bed either under the window or next to the window, depending on how we organized my room. So I think Maya's bed is under a window. But that's also very interesting because I think I talked about this before, like how I will have certain scenes where all of a sudden a character's room or like an apartment will look different in my head in that specific scene compared to the rest. Like I know what it looks like. I know what the interior looks like, and then there'll be like this one scene where it's different in my head. I don't understand what that is.
Yeah, that's bad feng shui. You never
Well,
put a bed to a window.
well, that explains some things, I
No, so
suppose.
literally in feng shui, it is believed that energy passes through openings. So if you put your bed against the window, all of your energy leaves. So it leads to restless nights of sleep, bad dreams, and overall tiredness and insomnia. Yeah, see? You don't put your bed against window.
Is this why I can't sleep?
Yes. My bed
Okay.
is also under a window because my cat wants to rant at birds all day. I mean, okay. That's a fair excuse, I guess.
But like my bed is huge and it can't fit anywhere else.
Well, for me, like people, I can't really imagine or see things in my head visually going on and on about how a place looks doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah, I think it depends. Like if it feels natural and organic, like so I've done this sometimes where like a character is anxious about a setting that they're in. So they're kind
Mm.
of like cataloging the space because
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about everything but what they're anxious about. Like I think I did that with a doctor's office once where like the
Mm.
character does not want to be there because it's doctor's office. Those places are terrible. So he's like meticulously cataloging everything that is in this doctor's
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to fucking be there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like if it fits to have this huge exposition dump, it makes sense.
Hmm.
Let's see. I was plagued by night terrors till dad put a brook under there. And then it mostly saw. See, that's the energy flowing back. It's the feng shui. Out of all the things that you could have guessed about me, was feng shui master one of them?
No. But you surprise me every day.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Oh, a broom, not a brook. I was really excited. I thought you had like a water feature. I thought I
Yeah,
thought
I
you
was like,
I
wait,
thought
what?
you were I thought you were bougie and had like a water feature.
I
Like
mean, some people do.
there's one emperor in China who built this elaborate tomb, and he wanted it to be like life on Earth. So he built rivers that are filled with liquid mercury. They still flow to this day, and the stars are made out of precious gems.
Hmm.
These are things I know off the top of my head. Don't ask me
I
questions.
was I was gonna bring to the table that, in his house in Japan, G has a waterfall in his bedroom. Just throwing that out there.
Have you been? Have you seen it?
No. I've
Are you
seen I've
are you
seen it.
are you on Google Earth zooming in?
Yes. No.
Are you,
No,
are you on
I
Google
have
Street View
multiple.
zooming in as many times as you
If
can?
I no, I would not stalk him, but no. He has showed off his house plenty of times in the media, so
Does he have a tiger?
no.
I could imagine him having a tiger. I wouldn't support it, but I could see him having a tiger.
He has an army of small dogs.
No, that passes. Did you end up answering the least favorite as well?
Yeah, I can't really think of
Oh,
anything.
please.
I want to take like an easy way out and like stand my ground that I absolutely hate summaries.
Oh, the
I
worst.
have
The
such
worst.
a fucking I have a hard time summarizing and trying to like make like the wash label on the back of the book or whatever. I struggle. It's a
Yeah,
struggle.
the fucking worst. Don't make
I
me
don't
do
like it.
that.
Like I write novels because I don't know how to keep things short, and you expect me to write like a blurb? No. No. I am not good at
A
it.
blurb that's good. Because like I could write you a blurb and it's gonna be characters fucking car.
I'd read it.
Right?
You just gotta know your audience. Okay?
Right. Like it's like what's the chapter summary of this? Matt and Mello fucking a car.
Good. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
in. Perfect. Like I'm
click. Yeah, but it made me so happy, because I've been away from the fanfic scene for such a long time, and then I come back and start reading things again, and everything is different. The platforms are different, a lot of the language is different, but people are still going. I fucking hate summaries. I suck at summaries. Like, don't at me. I'm like, thank you. Some things
you
never
still
changed,
haven't read mine.
but I don't have any time. Listen,
No, I will not listen. It's been years, Corolla.
yeah, but
I've read your book.
I will get to it, Amanda.
When?
I just need to get out of this this kid Porsche slump.
Okay, that's never happening. You can just say you're never gonna read it.
No,
There's
but
ways to tell me to
I am
fuck off.
I am very close to
No,
having
you're not.
rounded. No,
Bull.
I said I'm very close to having rounded all of the good fics in the Kin Porsche tag, and when I'm running out of things to read, I will move on.
Do y'all find it difficult balancing foreshadowing and accidentally spoon feeding your readers? No, because I don't know what's going on.
I
I'm
I mean
just I am just as shocked as everyone else.
I I also don't know what's going on, but I think I reflected a lot on this when I wrote Change of Heart because Noah is a nervous wreck throughout half the story, which and I was like, am I projecting? Because I'm very much like I'm someone who needs to I will ramble for ages. I need every single detail to be in a story for me when I'm telling it because I am so afraid of like missing a detail and people misunderstanding me. And jokes on
Mhm.
me because most of the time I will be talking for so long with so many details that I lose everyone when that is the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. So I was like, is Noah being super, super like overthinking and over explaining things because I do that, or is it because he is going through it? Like, so I will sometimes teeter on the edge of, am I leaving it too cryptic? Because when I was writing Jaded, because Aki doesn't talk about his feelings or anything, I
Mhm.
feel like that's very cryptic, and I'm like, should I have given the audience, like the readers, more? Whereas in Change of Heart, I felt like I was kind of spoon feeding them. But I think
Mhm.
that it, but that like you said, because I don't know what's going on because the characters are just running the story. But if I start thinking about it, I'll be like, is this too much? Am I not trusting my readers to understand what the
Well, and the answer
characters?
is no, I don't trust my readers. Like I've been
I
shown
work in
time and
customer.
I've been shown time and time again that I can't trust readers. Like, and I say that with love as a reader myself, because again, like we make a joke about this all the time, but like I'll see dead dove do not eat and still fucking chuck the bag.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't trust my readers because I'm a trash reader too. Like, it's not, I'm not being mean when I say that. I know that I'm not good either. Like, I'm looking at the bag, it says dead dove do not eat, death by dragon fucking. And then when it gets to the death by dragon fucking, I'm like, oh, it
Shocked
was
Pikachu
there.
face.
Right, Chalk Pikachu. They weren't lying when they wrote death
Yeah,
by
yeah.
dragon fucking. So if I can't trust myself, of course I don't trust my readers.
No, and I'm like,
Amanda and
I
the readers
work.
make, yes, literally.
I make, I work in I do customer support. People can't read. So yeah, I don't really trust anyone. Like, I think readers of fiction are generally better than people, better at comprehending than people who
True.
are just like trying
True,
to
true, true.
get information from something. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that also colors things a little bit, that I'm just like, but what if it doesn't shine through? And I tend to kind of lead a little bit more than maybe necessary. But again, it
Yeah.
depends on the character, because
Well,
Aki's
and
not giving anyone anything because
so
he's
I know,
useless.
it's like if you read a lot of my fiction, there's one thing. So like when you talk about like writer hallmarks, I don't get to do these a lot because no one really reads a lot of my OC centered fic. But if I were to do that, one thing you'd notice about me is that I am a slut for an unreliable narrator, and I
Mm.
love first person limited. It is first person POV, limited to what that character knows. I don't do first omniscient. I don't do third omniscient. I don't do third limited. Third limited doesn't make sense to me. Who made up third limited? What fucking asshat decided we're gonna neuter all the fun of third omniscient? He might give someone a disease. Oh
Are you
no.
talking about Aki?
I
Because
don't.
yeah, and he does that. Because
So
he's
so I went to Austria when I was in college, and we, we're dumb Americans, so we get this fun packet of like things to do and not to do over there. And there was two things that were formative to me in that packet. One of them actually didn't come in the packet but ended up being useful. So one of them was there was a moderate risk of rabies from spelunking and cave diving activities,
really.
which, yeah, there was a
Oh,
mild to moderate risk of rabies because people would go like exploring caves and bats carry rabies. The second was in a trivia book that I still own, and it was Austria is the country that if you sleep with a man, he is least likely to tell you he has an STD.
good to know.
So I fucked no one in Austria. If you were,
Did you
if you
go?
were,
But did you
did
go spelunking?
no.
No, okay. That is like, I'm just over here like shocked right now, because when I think of Austria, I think spelunking is not one of the things I think about.
Well, I mean,
But
also like when we think of Austria, we think of like The Sound of Music and Mozart. Like Austria is a pretty decent sized country.
I I actually think of Hetalia, Austria, and how hot he is, because I have issues. We were actually
my
hanging out with an Austrian yesterday and eating Austrian candy, so that was fun.
my beloved Roderick.
He's so pretty.
I miss
I love
cosplaying
him.
him.
Oh, you should cosplay him for me.
Oh, that and the sexy radio voice, you would not know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, I can see you now dressed as Austria reading fucking Omega verse.
I'd have to put my tits so far back for Austria. That coat
I,
is terrible.
I love him.
He's Roderick is beautiful
It was beautiful.
and definitely married to Prussia.
Oh yeah.
I also love first person limited and unreliable narrators, but this particular OC is an overthinker. So he feels like
Mm.
he rambles and is spoon feeding people, but he's usually wrong. Yeah, like that's the thing with unreliable narrators is that, like, so like my unreliable narrator, his name is Kane because I wrote him when I was 15 years old. And it ended up making sense because he ends up having to give himself a name when he's an angsty teenager. So what do you do when you're an angsty teenager and you can rename yourself? You rename yourself like a comic book character. So I ended
Yeah.
up making it better in canon. Um, he thinks he's this genius mastermind. And it's funny listening to him talk about his plans. And then, like, you pan out and it's just like, you're a fucking loony. And you're just like looking at like this tiny little man who like thinks he's very clever. And it's just like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
And it's sad in a lot of ways because he thinks he's very clever and he thinks he's very smart and he thinks you know this time it's going to work, and then you pan out and it's like, oh, your life is a mess and it's 90% your fault because
Yeah.
you make bad decisions. And like you can't
Yeah.
feel bad for him because like he's not dumb, he knows what he's doing. But oh, I
Does he
love him.
though?
he, he thinks he does. He thinks he does. and
Uh,
and to be fair, uh he gets knocked down a lot because of aforementioned bad decisions.
I love him already.
Oh, you would love him.
Of course.
He's a tiny little disaster. He is he's wonderful. I love him. You would love him. You would love him.
Yeah. He sounds like the kind of character I would love.
Oh yeah, you would. I think you guys would have like a tea party of evil together. Like there'd be like a little like tea party of evil, and like it's just Kane and Aki and like all of us just hanging out, just like being catty bitches.
uh, I'll make sure to invite him.
I mean, they'd murder each other. So like it'd basically just be us watching a death match then.
Yeah. To be fair, I may not know him, but I think he would win because
No,
Aki doesn't fight well. He's
he doesn't fight either. Neither.
okay.
Okay, so it's gonna be like a sissy. It's gonna be a sissy fight.
Like
It's
I
gonna
mean, he
be.
gets into fights, but he's
Have
not
you seen
particularly
like birds argue or they're just like posturing? It's just like it's gonna be like that. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
two
yeah.
small gays who
Oh
think they're
my
very
god.
clever. Oh, that's wonderful. I love being a writer sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So I'm staring at my impulse purchase, which Corolla saw, which was bisexual pride socks. So when I grabbed them, I thought it was like a pack of 3 bi socks. And it's 1, 2, 3 individual pairs of bi socks. So when I went to go check out, I had like a mild crisis of faith that it's like this guy at the register is going to think that I'm either very, very bi or I am grossly overcompensating.
Or
Because when I
maybe you could
grabbed in my mitts, I thought it was a pack of 3,
ah.
but it's 3 individual pairs.
But now you have 3 pairs of bi socks.
Oh,
This is
I
not a
mean,
problem.
no, it's not a problem. I just didn't. I felt like I was in the clout game again. That it's like, oh, this person's buying all the buy shit because buys don't exist, so they have to
Mm,
buy all this shit because
good
to
point.
justify their existence. Because it's a
I
phase. It's a phase that I grew out of at 16.
yeah, clearly. Clearly. No, I've been buying a lot of Pride stuff lately because they have it as like we have this is a Danish store. It's called Flying Tiger in like
Why
that's
did
the
you say it with so much contempt?
because they are trying to take over because there are so many Danish stores popping up and all the good cheap stores are Danish. I don't know what's happening. No, but
Okay.
they're called it's called Flying Tiger of Copenhagen and we just call it TGR, but they have like a bunch of Pride things, and I keep going there to buy like Pride things. And my excuse right now is like, but we're doing a Pride hangout at the library in June, and I'm gonna buy a bunch of effects that I can bring to the event because you know this is my excuse to buy a bunch of flags that I will decorate with.
Do you
Yeah,
need
and also
flags?
dates. No,
Oh
I
my
have
god.
plenty of flags.
Well, because like again, we have American rainbow capitalism. If you need resources, Reese, my boyo, is the kind of unreliable, and he's capable and loved, but convinced he's hated. Oh, awful brothers. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. I. He sounds like I would want to hurt him.
You know, that would be an upsetting statement if it wasn't for the fact that you're a writer.
And also a Fujin, because like this is just what we do. I had to
Yeah,
explain the jar to someone last night.
the
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 jar,
jar.
the jar.
Which, okay, yes,
You know the jar.
it depends on the jar. Just explain it and
The
see if we're
one
on
you
the same.
fucking come in, you deviant.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yes,
Did you just want me to say cum jar?
yes,
Well,
of course. No, it was because
you're no
my I've
longer
been.
you're no longer getting birthday presents. I'm done with you.
But I already bought you a card. I'm very happy with it. I saw it. I'm proud
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah, I already have some of your gifts. Um, but yeah, I had to explain the jar to someone, and that was not
uh,
fun. Being a writer is looking up suspicious stuff and ending up on the amount of.
yeah.
So for my job, I have to work on producing a true crime podcast.
Mm.
My search history for work is fucked. My search history at this moment is fucked.
I mean, it can't be any worse than our private chat because that is.
A
Hey, you know exactly what I'm
a
talking about.
I
Oh my god.
I should write to them because I want an autograph.
Oh my god.
I want an autograph.
Sure you do.
Don't fucking test me, Corolla.
I didn't say anything.
Don't
It's fine.
fucking test me. I already have an autograph from Jim Cornette, which is he's a wrestling promoter.
Okay.
I have autograph from Spike Spencer. I have an autograph from Jim Cornette. I want to get one from the Iron Sheik. He's a wrestler. I really like wrestling. I'd love to get one from Emi Sakura,
Mm.
also wrestler.
Well, lots of people are into like female wrestling, Japanese wrestling in particular lately. I
Emi
noticed.
Sakura is like, we ended up watching a lot of her videos in Japan. She's literally perfect. She's a short brick house of a Japanese woman. She dresses like a queen. She enters to Queen music, like the band Queen. And her signature pose is she'll basically like leg lock someone and then like sit on them and act like she's drinking tea on the person that she's held in submission. And like that's just a goal. If I have to die like that.
That's a power move.
Slightly random, but I saw a fic and thought of you two. It was an unfinished Endeavor Sephiroth.
Well, that's
So I have some questions.
I have a lot of questions, but I can see how you would think of the two of us because yes.
It's literally the two of us. It's literally it's split down the middle, the two of us. So congratulations, you know both your hosts very well. You did it perfect. Because that's literally us.
Yeah, that is a very even split
No,
right
that's
there.
that's a 50-50 split. There is something for everyone. But I have some questions.
I have a lot of concerns.
I just don't think they talk to each other. Like I can't like outside of like plot magic. I just really hold on. What? What?
What? I
What?
mean, the gaslighting girl bossing sounds very Sephiroth, but I have a hard time seeing it work
Uh,
in this case.
I don't have an issue with housewife baby girl Inji, but I don't know if to Sephiroth. Because you can male wife Inji really easily. Like he's actually
I mean,
just
fair.
like he's just a dad. Like you can male wife Inji really easily. I've been doing it for years.
But I also feel like if you look at Seth, I mean he absolutely first of all, I mean he definitely has a type and his type is not like big burly daddies. It's
Yeah.
sad twinks, but also he's so obsessed with Cloud, I don't see how he can think of anything else.
And also, I'm pretty sure Inji has between 3 and 4 children.
Can you imagine Sephiroth the stepfather? No, actually, I don't.
Like, depending on when this is set, Inji has between 3 and 4 kids. Most of them running around with fire ice magic.
Yeah,
And even
it's
the one
okay. He just
that doesn't have
meteor.
fire ice magic, it fresh out of high school. Did he put him in a van? Did he, did he kidnap him in a van labeled Candy? What? I'm so confused.
Well, clearly, we might have to do some research.
We don't have to do shit. But okay, high school Inji is very cute. He had so much promise in his eyes, and I would love to see that removed.
Okay,
I'm not a good person.
I know, but
I just
neither
have
am
great
I.
hits. The only thing good about me is the titty.
You have great ideas.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Valuing my mind.
Yeah. See?
That wants to male wife Inji Todoroki.
Well, I mean, clearly you're not alone. There's an
I want to
army of you out
I
there.
want to male wife half of those boys.
Boys.
Questionable men. I can male wife skeptic.
I mean, sure. I have faith in you.
I can definitely
I
male
believe
wife
you.
Hanabata. I can definitely male wife Trumpet.
Are you dancing?
Yes, I am. A little. There were several concerning elements, but oh, questionable. You remind me of Cloud before I broke him. Wait, I wish to wait. No, no, no.
Oh
That's not how.
no.
That's not how Inji works. It's not how. Okay. Listen, I don't really advocate for anything that Sephiroth does, but I think this is a fool's errand.
A lot of the things that Sephiroth does.
Is a fool's errand.
I mean, he's not the most.
Subtle.
I don't think that he thinks through a lot of the things that he does. It's like
I could argue.
okay,
I could find arguments.
I found out this thing, so now I'm gonna destroy the world. I'm like, you I get your sentiment, but also Jesus. I mean, and I love Sephiroth, honestly, but
I've never, for as much as I love questionable men, I've never like understood him.
I love him.
I'm not here to judge you, not over that. That's not what I'm here to judge you over.
No, I know there are other things.
There are several other things.
I don't know. I can't even tell you what it is about him that I don't know. It's just
Is it the long
it's been
hair? Is it the
no,
voice?
it's been ingrained in me now for so long. This whole obsession I
Mm.
have with these men of Final Fantasy VII that I can't even tell you what it is anymore. It's just like this thing that's just like hardwired into my brain. I do love how obsessed he is with Cloud, though. I will say that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not healthy, but you know,
I
I
don't think health is what they were going for.
no,
I don't think that was part of like the narrative tree.
no.
I'm over here just thinking about male wives in My Hero Academia now. I could
When
male
are you
wife.
not?
True. I could male wife so many of those men, and I'd be so good at it.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. I
yeah. I
appreciate
believe
it.
in you. I believe in
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, we do stand a loyal king.
Yeah, right. You just hurt my ear. What the hell was that sound? I'm deaf, Amanda. Thanks. Thank you.
My lipstick moved. Shut up.
Your lipstick. What? I'm deaf because your lipstick moved.
Yes. It's long lasting butter whip. It's not supposed to move.
What do you mean it moved?
It moved, like it transferred.
Oh, like the okay.
No, it walked off my face, girl.
No, I thought you meant like the lipstick, the physical
No,
lipstick that it like moved on like the
no.
table or whatever. Because
Oh,
your
the
apartment's
ghost.
haunted.
Yeah, I was about to say the ghost.
Yeah, the
No.
ghost.
Welcome to Amanda's a beauty blogger and can use any reflective surface to do her makeup.
Preening like the bird you are.
I did my makeup in my friend's side mirror standing in a parking lot once. That's what high school hoeing days get you. I can do my makeup in any reflective surface. I can change full outfits in the back of a car.
The experience speaking for itself. No.
Oh, I was a terror in high school.
I know.
So, so many young men, so many questionable decisions in various public places.
And now look at you and your writing career.
I know, right?
Write
Now look,
write what you know.
high school sluts. Yes,
Yeah,
right. What I
true.
know, high school sluts.
Yeah.
Carla, what should we talk about next?
Writing.
Yes, but
Yes.
like, what?
I don't my brain is fried. I'm very tired. Like I'm just like I feel like I have cotton in my brain. I'm so fucking tired today. I don't know what happened. I'm like trying to
Uh, we talked about the music. Oh, I do like how the writing BL episode is just PSA that Angie is perfect and her hosts are perfect.
I am perfect in my imperfection.
I've
Yes.
never, yeah, absolutely. Also, it has been over an hour and no one has said how pretty I am.
You're very pretty, Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you. I always say how pretty you are.
Yes. I mean,
What was that?
yes, you do. I
So I get
guess
to.
you do.
What kind of
No,
tsundere couple are we now?
no, but it's just because I'm just like I, I don't I don't care about compliments, so it kind of just like
Oh yeah, you're
runs off.
Norwegian.
Yeah, I just
Y'all don't.
register.
That is the
I don't
weirdest.
know how to
There's
deal with
two
it.
things that were the biggest culture shock in almost marrying a Dane. Y'all
Are you
don't
gonna
know. Yes, I am. You guys
you're
all
gonna
act the
compare
same.
us to the dates?
You
No, no,
act the
no, no,
same.
no,
You act the
no.
same. Neither of you can take compliments, and both of you hate small talk.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
But
fuck off.
The Danes are better at small talk than we are, but then no one understands them anyway, so what's the point?
Listen, both of your languages sound like Swedish chef garbled in a blender to me. It's all
No.
I don't care. Both of you sound. Oh, Curla, this is a question for you.
I did. I did get it. I actually had it.
I'm gonna lose my bid to be the most famous Texan in Norway.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert: you guys all sound like Swedish chef in a blender to us.
no. It's very different. Danish is very different from everything else. Also, may I just point out that we had our Constitution Day this week. It was
Yeah, I saw.
awful because it was literally the worst weather in the entire week. It was the worst weather we've had on May 17th for 25 years. We nearly died. But we did walk in the parade like we always do. But
Mhm.
yeah, so you know how the Norwegian Constitution Day is when we celebrate that we were ripped away from the Danes because they supported Napoleon during the Napoleon War, and
Mhm.
they were like, someone was like, we have to punish Denmark, so we'll take Norway away from them and give it to Sweden. And then we had 2 weeks where we cooked up our own constitution so that when the Swedes got us, we had more power. So we are celebrating that we are free from the Danes. And
Mhm.
as we were walking in the parade through the city, what do I see in the crowd amongst all the Norwegian flags? I see a Danish flag. Now, listen here. You can wave flags that are not Norwegian on May 17th. I don't care. But the Danish flag?
Okay, but like you have to acknowledge that like you were a part of them for many, many, many years.
Yeah, 400, but that wasn't by choice.
Okay. And
We
like
were occupied. They
stop being so occupiable. Y'all could have emancipated yourselves sooner if you tried harder.
they didn't let us. They
I'm negging
literally
Denmark. I'm slut shaming Norway at this stage. Listen, I almost married a Danish guy, and the
yeah,
country is
that's
beautiful.
poor judgment on your part.
It was poor judgment for a myriad of reasons. Him being Danish wasn't the top one.
You say that now, but if you had to move there and try to learn the language, you'd change your mind.
I actually got pretty good with my conversational Danish for a little bit because he'd practice with me.
How the fuck? It's just noise.
Sweetie, you're talking to not just an American, but a Texan. All of y'all to us sound the same. Every single and like the only reason why I have an ear for it is because I fell into the Hitalia fandom many, many years ago. But y'all all sound like Swedish chef. Every single one of you. Once when I worked at Taco Bell, a man with a Cajun accent came in with his, I think he was Swedish friend, and watching them talk was interesting since sometimes they missed words. But he's, yeah, Cajun is its own separate monster, and you can't apply French to it, which sucks. Because you would just think, oh, I speak French. I can get along here. No, you cannot.
I
No.
like Cajun though. I
I
think
like
it's
it a lot
interesting.
too. No, I like it a lot too.
Oh.
My godmother is Creole, so I know a lot of Cajun people.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, my godmother is Creole. Um, and yeah, it's a whew, that is a language gap there. That is, I think I wasn't coming for the Danes. That
No,
was
that was
Corolla.
me. That was
I
me.
almost became one of you. I
I'm sorry,
almost
Jamie.
gave up my high value American citizenship.
Your high value American citizenship.
Fuck off. This was like 2000 and it was not recent. We had value. It was before Trump. We weren't poor yet. So I was willing to abandon my American heritage to be looked at horribly by Danish people because they'd never seen a black person before.
There are black people in Denmark. I've never. I was about to say I've never been to Denmark. I have. I have been to the airport in
That
Denmark.
doesn't. It's a fuck.
I had the most jarring experience. I probably told this story, but after 10 days in Japan, where I did fine speaking in Japanese and everything was in Japanese and I was fine. You land in Denmark on our way back and I have to buy water in the kiosk and the person at the counter starts talking to me in Danish and I panicked. I've been 10 days in Japan, living in Japanese. It's all fine. Someone speaks to me in Danish. I'm like, what the fuck? Answers in English. It was awful.
You sound so traumatized.
I was traumatized because I didn't understand anything.
My
Also, the that particular terminal in the airport in Copenhagen is the coldest fucking place on earth. Every single time we land there for transit, I get sick because it's so cold at the gate, and I end up getting the flu or something.
isn't that a myth that you can't get sick from temperature?
I don't think so. Every single time we've been to Japan, I come home and I get sick because we keep running between hot weather outside and air conditioned
Oh well.
inside, and then we have 5 hours at the coldest gate on the planet in Copenhagen,
Apparently,
and
it's
I
not
hate
a myth. My parents were just very American and tried to treat everything with Canfo Finique and good feelings.
no vapor rub.
Occasional vapor rub. I broke my wrist when I was a child, but it wasn't like an open fracture. Like it was an internal break. So
Hmm.
my dad put Canfo Finique on it for 3 days.
What is that anyway?
Canfo Finique is a antiseptic that smells like chloroform. So it was a really heavy scent. It's a great antiseptic in the way that like it kills everything. Sort of like
Yeah,
hydrogen peroxide. Like it's an amazing antiseptic because everything's dead. Um
that sounds great.
oh yeah,
Did your
burns.
bone heal?
No, it did not. So after 3 days of riding and maneuvering and living on a broken wrist, we finally went to the doctor and the doctor's like, "Yeah, she probably like just missed needing surgery." And my dad was like, "Oh, germs live easier in warm weather, I think, but in cold weather, people are closer together, so they are spreading germs more, or maybe it's the other way around." So I actually did just Google it. Um, and apparently it is easier to get sick in colder weather. I acknowledge that I was wrong. Like I said, I was raised by Southern Black people who don't believe in doctors, which served them well because both my parents are dead,
Oh my god!
which clearly was a strategy that worked great for them. A winning strategy. Welcome to the Yaoi Shelf, where Amanda
Uh-huh.
processes her trauma and looks great
Are
while
you?
doing it.
Are you though?
I mean, it's been like 20 years for dad and like 10 years for mom.
Mm.
I don't know how much more processing I need. Like, they don't get, it's not like Schrodinger's cat. They don't become less dead. They don't, like, like whether I process it or not, it doesn't make them more or less dead. Except for I was visiting my mom and her cemetery particularly has a lot of children and people of Asian descent. So there's a lot of food being brought to the graves. Well, one thing that uh, loves pristine lawns, water features, and food are geese.
Ah,
So a flock of Canada geese took up residence in the cemetery that my mom is buried in. Um, Gorging themselves on the cookies and pastries left for the dead, uh, enjoying the spacious water feature, the fountain, and the pristine manicured lawns of the cemetery. I was just there to drop off flowers. I don't stay very long in the cemetery. I'm sort of a drive by, sorry you're dead kind of person.
my
Uh,
God. I just imagine you throwing the flowers out the window and like aiming for the grave. Oh my
so
God.
but I actually like sat and talked to my mother for a little bit, and then I heard the honking, and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Were they aggressive?
they're Canada geese."
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I get up, they start walking towards me as a flock. It's like, okay, we don't have to do anything about this. And then they started running.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm just like a fucking Adventure Time character, just noodle limbs running back to my Prius because talking time with my dead mom got cut short because of Canada geese.
Okay, but birds are scary. You know how afraid I am of seagulls.
So that
And Rito can attest to me screaming all weekend about seagulls.
so that was something that happened. I was having a nice conversation with my dead mom, and then the Canada geese attacked, and I had to run back to my car.
I mean, they are just needlessly vicious, aren't they?
Let's see. New research has found that cold temperatures lower immunity in the nose. Just in the nose? Just in the nose. Okay.
Oh, because my nose is doing so well already. That explains everything.
Let's see. I really want to go to Sweden or Norway, but I worry about getting lost, which is silly. I've gotten lost driving in strip malls 15 minutes. You know what? The cool thing about getting lost in Europe is that you're not going to get murdered.
This is true.
Like
And
like I had that concern when I was in Austria that it's like, "Oh my god, what if I don't know where I'm going?" First of all, you have this. There is more computing power in this device than there was for the first computers that sent man to the moon. First of all, you got this. I even, not a sponsor, I had data over when I was in Japan because of T-Mobile. So I didn't have to just like pray for internet access. Like I just had like data and a phone plan. Like I could make calls and shit.
mm,
So you have Google Maps right here. And also
but
like, yes.
also, like, I can't talk to Sweden because, like, Stockholm is very big compared to most places here. But, like, we are small, okay? Like, my city, we are the third biggest city in the country. And you
Mhm.
can easily walk, like, through it in an hour or so. Like, if you do get lost, it won't take you very long to get back to the city center. Like, it's it's very small. Also, if you come here, I will show you around. It's fine.
And then she'll drag you back to her lair so you can watch Ken Portion talk about
I
Gak.
don't understand what you're talking about. I am never.
And then she'll drag, it's like a trapdoor spider. Then she'll drag you back to her lair.
You do know that my friend Mika and I had a Kin Porsche marathon this week.
Yeah, I know because you didn't respond to any of my fucking messages.
No, because I was screaming. I was spending time with my friend.
Secret plot twist, much like how storks deliver babies, geese deliver food to dead people. You know what? I would have been really, really happy if like they were of value. Like if they were like guarding graves and stuff, but they were just like stealing grave goods and pooping everywhere. Like they're not helping.
I can hear the song from "Come to My Home." No, I can hear the song from Repo, the Genetic Opera, "Grave Robber," but it's
Right.
geese.
Right.
Grave Robber.
Like it'd be one thing if they were like beneficial. One of the funeral homes I used to work for, they were a mating ground for an endangered turtle. So like no one could like mow the lawn or anything for weeks because this endangered turtle would be like nesting in the cemetery.
I mean, that's not the worst.
I
Turtles
have
are cool.
I have so many cemetery stories. I have so many cemetery stories.
And do you use them in your writing ever?
I hope no. No, because it'd be too easy to triangulate
Mm.
because it's like, oh shit, like there's only like 3 people who know that that happened.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, fair. No, but like now you
So
can
no.
you can make your own mythology of the grave geese, the grave robbing geese. No, maybe.
I mean, I usually when I'm there, I visit my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, and then I usually leave something for Amber Hagerman because she's
Mm.
buried in the same cemetery. If you live in the US, you have Hagerman to thank for the Amber Alert. So I usually visit her. But I didn't get to do that because the geese decided that the entire cemetery was their property. Uh, to be fair, geese are terrifying. I'd be willing to bet they kept vandals out too. Yeah, so did the fucking gate.
Well, it didn't keep the geese out. Jesus.
Some lady followed the goslings at the Dairy Queen near this cesspool, and I watched with joy as the parents rose up like vengeful gods from the pit and chased her. Yeah, that's usually. I love birds.
I am terrified.
What is the biggest bird in Norway?
The biggest bird in Norway?
Yes.
Uh, I think it's one of the eagles, probably.
Oh yeah, you or
Or it's that one giant fucking seagull.
it might be the eagle owl actually.
Mm.
You guys have some ox? You have some nice ox and loons
Mm.
and grebes and nightjars.
It's very funny because I don't know what half of those are in Norwegian. Like, or like, I don't know them in English. I know them in Norwegian.
You do have a sea eagle,
Yeah, and
which is my favorite.
we have what we call the king eagle. I think they're among the biggest. Kongeørn.
Oh, the golden eagle.
Mm.
The king eagle.
King eagle. That's what
The
they're
king
called in
eagle.
Norwegian. And then we have a million different
Okay.
seagulls.
So, as a former funeral industry employee, do not jump the gate to a cemetery. There is nothing that I don't care if there's diamonds and gold laying on the ground. Do not jump the gate at a cemetery. Don't albatross mess around there?
Yeah, I was
Albatross
thinking
mess
about that.
around in all locations. That's what makes them great. I
I
love
mean,
albatrosses.
you don't see them on the regular. But I do guess you can find them like along the coast
Oh my god,
somewhere. Occasionally.
is that one albatross still alive? So there's this one albatross, her name is Wisdom. She
Wisdom. I love
shut
that.
up. Shut up.
No, I love it.
Her name is Wisdom. She's 71 years old.
Wow.
She
She's older
lost
than I'll ever be.
she lost her mate a while ago, but just recently like took on another mate. Like her whole life is like a saga. She's 71 years old. So like Wisdom's entire life is just a fucking saga. Everyone loves her. She's amazing. And yeah, she's still alive. And it's actually she's probably older than 70, 71, but she was banded in the 1950s. So that's when we acknowledge that she was alive. But she could be older. Are the gates electric or security? Usually security. Also lots of cameras, and uh usually the funeral director doesn't live very far depending on the town. Uh and you don't want to make them mad. Yeah, Wisdom's a very old bird. Yeah, so she's at least 70 years old. Uh, apparently, she has flown um over 4,800,000 kilometers since 1956 and has
Wow.
circumnavigated uh and has gone approximately 120 times the circumference of the earth. So she's amazing. Wisdom is literally an inspiration. But that's what I do in my spare time is I because I was like, oh my god, I haven't heard about Wisdom in a while. And yeah, she's doing great. She's amazing. Like her mate, she had the same mate for 60 years. 60 years.
Yeah.
Wisdom out here living a soap opera. Exactly. She had the same mate for 60 years. I couldn't write a love story that good. Back to writing. As we wrap up, shut up. As we wrap up, do you guys have any final questions, comments, concerns? Did you like the episode?
We will probably never talk about our writing again. So this is your chance to just
Yeah, this is
completely.
if you comment on AO3, I'll definitely still engage. I have someone who's like reading my Matt and Mello fic and they're like leaving a comment on like every chapter and it makes me very
Oh,
happy.
yeah, that's nice.
At first I was like, oh, what the fuck is the spam? And then it was like, oh, someone's reading it.
It's like you think it's like newsletters or whatever, and then it's like, no,
Right.
wait a minute.
Well, because I got like a bunch of notifications from like AO3 and it's like, oh shit, someone found me. Oh,
Yeah.
because I've been trying to get better about like preaching what I like doing what I actually preach, which is sometimes I do have a bad habit of lurking and not giving
Mm.
feedback. I guess especially because like the fic I tend to read, um, like I don't necessarily need to be like, yeah, that was great use of Omegaverse. Good job, buddy. Like so like to be like the fic I tend to read, I'm usually lurking, but like I've gotten better about like just even if it's just saying, hey, this was great, thank you. Um,
Mm.
which character do you enjoy writing the most? Oh,
Oh.
an original character or like a fanfic character? Elaborate. It was fun knowing about your writing process and tips. Help validate. Oh, I'm glad.
Oh,
That makes me
yay.
happy. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
that makes
both
me very happy.
we're both two very, very famous, super talented, super good writers.
Yes. Ow! My back just cracked. What the hell?
I'm
I
gonna
think
go
I'm
to the
dying.
I'm gonna go to the gas station like this. I had to go get petrol. I'm gonna go to the gas station like this.
Petrol. Aren't you fancy?
Either. Mm, I have a Hogwarts OC named Silas, and he's a hot mess, and I love him.
That's yes.
He's a terrible little Slytherin and a whore, and I love him.
I having an identity crisis. Uh I mean, oh my god.
Corolla, the actual published author.
Actual published. Okay. No, but like I have a lot of characters that I enjoy writing for different reasons. I really, really enjoy writing Aki because he's a fucking mess, and we all know that I enjoy pain and suffering.
Yes.
But I also remember he is a nightmare because he doesn't talk about his feelings. Like he can be a struggle to work with. So I do remember writing Love Addict and how liberating it was to write Mia because he's like this like he's a very open, very simple character. He's very fun to write because he's very open. He works with me, not against me.
You
So
have a thing for dumb himbos.
yeah, I do.
Like with
I
love.
do.
Like with
Yeah,
love.
no, I know. I know.
Like
I think
you have a thing for dumb himbos. And I'm like, how I'm the physical embodiment of like, how do I make this character worse? So like if I have a horrible character like Silas, his actual boyfriend is a lycanthrope who has murdered for him. Like brought him bodies as like a trophy.
I mean that's sweet in its own way.
and they've had a lot of sex because of it. Did I mention
Yes,
that's a teacher?
that sounds good. Like murder husbands, you know? It's like
They're literal murder husbands, and like
I love murder
he's
husbands.
fucking
It's just
his teacher, like he's telling his teacher to murder people for him, and then he has like a bloodied corpse brought back, and he's like, "Good dog," and then they fuck
oh,
later.
yeah. No, but like, you know,
But
there
you,
are
but you
what?
like you like these horrible little anxiety riddled gremlin sacks,
Yeah.
and then a sunshine himbo,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
Miritama.
Yes. Which is why Miritama
I'm
appeals so
connecting.
much to
I'm
me.
connecting the dots.
No,
I'm
no, but
connecting the
also
dots.
there's not as much suffering in Miritama as it is in a lot of the things that like Aki has trauma. Like he has
I can
serious
make
trauma.
I can make
But
there be drama.
yeah, I mean I could do if I still wrote fanfic if I knew how to do that anymore,
You
which
know,
again I think
you
no,
know
I don't.
how
I have
you
no
do.
idea
You
how to write other people's
it's like
characters. I
riding
admire
a
people so
bicycle.
much.
It's like riding
I
a
can't
bicycle.
ride a bicycle, Amanda. I
It's
forgot how.
like riding
The last
dick. You
time
hop
I
back on,
tried,
and all the muscle memory kicks back in.
but I don't want to do that either. I want to write other people riding dick, not,
You just
you know.
yeah, you hop back on, and it just.
No,
I
I'm
want to
gay now. I don't want to.
come.
No.
You just you do like one of those like skiing video games. You just hop back with your full weight on someone's pelvis.
Oh my god. I'm sure I've read that somewhere,
Oh,
actually.
I've absolutely read that
Yeah,
somewhere. I
quite
want to
recently.
comment, but like, what am I to say? Wowie, I really loved the whimpering monitoring. I loved that. Well, and
No,
like
but
you would
that's
honestly, you would make some writer's day if you ever
yeah,
did
like
that. Like, you would make some writer's day. Like,
it doesn't matter what kind of garbled mess you come up with. The writer's gonna appreciate it.
right, like, and honestly, like, even just, like, a thank you, like, I really
Yeah.
appreciated at the end, because like, my Matt and Mellific ended up being, like, just under 50K words. Like, just getting, like, a thank you for producing this.
Mm.
Like, I don't always need, like, a, "Oh my god, that part where Mello was, like, licking Matt's balls, that was amazing." I don't always need that, but just, like,
Those
someone
are good.
saying yeah, it was also good. But it's, like, just, like, "Hey, I can clearly see you put a lot of energy into this, and I wanna thank you for that." So, like, the last fic that I commented on, it was a Trigun fic, and it was Wolfwood and Vash, and Wolfwood was like a dom, and Vash was his new sub. And it was a great little series, like 8 chapters, like really, really intimate and cute. And like I didn't know that I needed Vash as a bratty sub, and I didn't know that I needed Wolfwood as like an ASMR dom.
Mm.
And like at the end, I was just like, this was masterfully written, great work. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't have to be like, oh my god, the way you wrote Vash's pussy, so good. Like I didn't have to do that. But like
I
just yes.
I left 2 comments. I vaguely remember leaving 2 comments on the same thing last night. And one of them was I actually had to scroll like I was reading on my phone in bed because I don't know
As you
what
do.
sleep is anymore. Yeah. And I had to like scroll down. I was in the middle of a scene, but I had to like copy paste the thing I just read so I could
Mhm.
remember it. And I was like, listen, I am cackling about this bit. I am still in the middle of this chapter. I just wanted you to
Mhm.
know how much I appreciate this bit. And then I kept reading, and then I vaguely remember half asleep typing up a comment as I realized that I had just read that I was now caught up and I just read the final chapter for now. And I was like, I didn't realize that this was the final chapter, and how am I supposed to sleep? And, you know, I vaguely remember this. It was like 3 a.m.
Yeah. And
Mistakes were made.
like honestly, that engagement works online as well. Like because I
Mm.
have my smut Twitter, like I follow a lot of the fanfic writers that I, read. So like if they ask a question, just responding and being like, "Hey," like, "Oh my god, one of the writers that I follow who does a lot of like overhaul being a slut, like that's like his niche, which is a great niche. It's my favorite niche, overhaul being overho. Um
Overho, I love it.
Okay, listen, is overho or overhold, which is my favorite.
I
Um,
love it. That is amazing.
overho is like my favorite subgenre. Um, but like he had like asked a question, just like he was like admitting like he was down, like a lot of writers get, and I was like, dude, I literally like read your fanfic as a part of my wind down ritual. Like,
Hmm.
no, like I get it, and like that was great. Like that was a great moment. I think I struggle with this a little bit, and I realize that like fanfic authors are like the most appreciated, underappreciated group of fan works. Like I never feel like we're taken for granted. I think like especially like with Tumblr, like that Tumblr generation, I've never felt not important. But sometimes I do, like a preening god. Sometimes I'd like to know that I'm appreciated.
Hmm.
Cause like, yeah, like I don't feel like I'm a dime a dozen. I don't feel unimportant. I don't feel like, this doesn't matter. But anytime I get a comment on my work, it makes my day.
Yeah.
Like it makes me so happy. And it makes me happy that I can do that for other writers.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, like I guess like just think about it that way. And like, yes,
What? No.
I thought
I was just trying to breathe. I'm dying over here. It's fine.
I'm waiting for Curla to finally comment on my fic.
I will, and I
I know
promised
you
you,
will.
I'm gonna leave two comments on that one fic. It's gonna
One of
be
them is
one
going to be a
flame.
flame. Yeah, one
Yeah,
of them is
and
going to be a flame, and then the other one, and I'm waiting for it.
very
I'm
excited. I'm waiting for your avid fans to jump me in the comment
yeah,
section when they
I'm
see the
I'm
flame
waiting.
because
I'm
they
waiting
don't
for
know.
like I'm waiting for a vintage like. Excuse me, you didn't trigger warn. This is gay. I didn't know gay was going to be here. I'm offended that you made me read fictional anal.
Yeah, it's not gonna be, like a modern type thing where I'm gonna be
No,
like,
it's
"Oh my
gonna be
god,
like
I
it's gonna
can't
be like a
believe you wrote this."
2004.
Yeah, like, "Excuse me."
Excuse me, this is really OOC, and you didn't tag for gay.
Just you wait.
I'd like to see your sources as to why you think these men are homosexuals.
Those 2 men in particular, I feel like there's a lot of source material for
I mean,
that.
yeah, like I don't need help with that. Just point.
Like, excuse me?
um, but yeah, I love talking about. Well, no, I don't love talking about my writing. It still makes me really anxious.
which is why we had a 30-minute tangent about birds because both of us
Yeah, which is
panicked
why we
and
talked about
we're like,
birds, Genji Todoroki, Overho.
I mean, that is slightly related. You write some of those. Do
I've
you?
never written those.
Oh, you haven't.
I've never written those.
Hmm.
I'm a little, I don't want to say afraid, but like my understanding of a lot of my hero is very rooted in fanon. And I know that. So I don't feel like I embody any of those characters. I know very intimately an aspect of them. Like I have zero questions about Dobby's anatomy. I know that very well. Thank you.
I'm aware.
But like there's probably a lot that I don't know. Well, no, that's not true. I now know a lot. Haunted noises.
Haunted noises.
Me trying to explain to my friend that Saint Seiya is very gay. Like, do you commonly drain 2/3 of your blood to show your homie your loyalty? Me with Kurofai.
Listen, Sasunaru. I
We're gonna talk about Fujin brain rot one day.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna talk
definitely.
about it. It was one of the three good ideas I had. We're gonna talk about Fujin brain rot.
because both of us have it very severely. I think we're beyond repair.
Oh, I've been. Oh yeah, that ship sailed.
You know, just to quote one of my favorite things to write, like I don't want to be cured. Okay, if this is a disease, I don't want to be cured.
I
I'm
kind
fine.
of want to be cured.
Really?
I think I do of like major motion pictures.
The, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
shut.
I can can we can we do
No,
a whole ass
no.
please?
No.
I'll hijack the Patreon and do it
Okay,
myself.
I'll
Don't
have
worry.
you know, I invited Corolla on years ago.
What?
Immediately, her demand was to talk about gravitation, and
No,
we did
it did.
that
What?
immediately. Immediately, her demand was, I have been yielding to this gremlin's
Mm,
requests.
mhm.
Truly, I must be the uke in the relationship because I'm the one who keeps getting bent over and has to take
No,
it.
you finally realized that I'm not an uke.
No, you're still an uke. I'm just a service top. I indulge you.
I think a Sasa, I think a
I'm
Sasunaru episode would be great.
I'm
I
I what I am is called a service top, and I let you. Yes. You want to
what
do
are
a
you
Sasunaru
thinking about?
episode?
I would love to do a Sasunaru episode.
Well, we can talk about it in Fujin Brain Rot. How does that sound? How does that
I
sound?
think it sounds very appropriate
Okay.
considering that's where
It's
my brain has been since 2004.
yeah, which was a really long time ago.
Don't
It was a really long time
don't
ago.
do this to me. Oh my god.
Are you just like aware of time now?
Yeah, I
Did
think
you
I
just like
talked
did you just like become sentient for a minute?
I talked to someone recently who was born in 2004. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, the fact that there's like pandemic children who were born in like 2020 something. It's like, what do you mean?
My friend has one of those.
A pandemic child?
Actually, I have several friends who have pandemic children.
What do you mean you still need to read Gravitation?
What are you waiting for?
Stop watching Saint Seiya. Fuck that shit. Go read Gravitation. Excuse you. Excuse
I mean,
you.
we've laid it all out for you.
Yeah,
Just go read it.
Corolla lists her wrong opinions, and I talk about a very savvy and cutting businessman
I
who
have
deserves a
correct.
lot more attention
Listen,
and a
listen.
devoted husband and father who has financially supported not only his family, but the family of his wife,
Yeah, and
is a
Amanda is
businessman whose
so
whose
preoccupied with this
company
man
whose company
that she
bankrolls several
seriously
individuals. Without that tiny little man, everyone would be poor. He's a literal economic powerhouse and he's
yeah,
a
sure.
creator of pop culture.
But
He's
that does
listed
not
a
change the fact that you are ignoring the
no,
great
you
story.
are wrong.
Listen, you know what? I'm gonna be very happy the day that Seguchi Toma's money pays for Yuki and Shuichi's wedding, okay? I will be
You
very
know
happy.
he would never. He would
I mean,
stop paying.
he
He
pays
would
Shuichi's
fire
salary.
Surichi the instant. He would dig ask back up from his backyard before he ever.
It's fine. Yuki can pay for it himself. He has money.
No, he doesn't. Gravitation is. I'm weak.
To be fair, I've never watched Sensei. I will get to it.
I
But
want to
I'm
read it, not watch it. Why do you want to? It's a literal music. It's a music series that if you read, you don't get the.
it's so good.
The manga is fine.
You can listen to the soundtrack while reading the manga. That's what I do.
You
And then
just
I get confused because my audio dramas will be mixed in there, and then all of a sudden Shuichi is like screaming in the background, and I'm like, "What is happening?"
is it the sexy screaming or just screaming?
Oh, and I want to I still think that I've been robbed. I think that they need to do audio dramas of the doujins, because there is no, like, there are two scenes in the audio dramas that are like kind of bordering on like a sex scene, but one of them is done for humor and the other doesn't really go anywhere because they like
You
fade to
you
black.
want Seki Tomokazu making wet pasta sounds with
And the
Kazuhiko
thing is,
Inoue?
yes,
You want wet pasta noises between Seki Tomokazu and
listen,
Kazuhiko
you're
Inoue?
the one who has problems with the wet pasta noises, okay? I like it.
You're wrong.
No, I am in a great
Don't
place
waste
emotionally.
Kazuhiko Inoue's time with wet pasta noises.
But I mean, like now Murakami is doing the Koroshiya series, and they have audio dramas, and they're really good. I'm like, when are we gonna get gravitation audio dramas with porn in them?
Why
I
do you
need
want to hear Hiro fuck Fujisaki
no, I
against the
don't want to
speaker?
hear that. I only care about Yuki and Shuichi. Fuck everything else. I just
You want Seki Tomokazu and wet pasta sounds.
yes,
Why are
I
you
do
like this?
because I
I say
am.
this because I had a dream gravitation at a spinoff with the death metal large Uke and Hiseme, a short king manager, and woke up at a
That
loss. I would actually read that.
was amazing.
Yeah, I would
You should
read the
pitch
fuck out of
that.
that.
You should pitch that
You,
to
you
Murakami
should.
Sensei. Maybe she'll write it.
She will not listen to you. She is doing whatever Fujin cocaine she's been on for 20 years.
I love that woman.
I, an absolute. Oh, before we end, who is, if we have one, our writing like goal? Like who is like if you have to like stand an author, who is, if it's Maki Murakami, just say why.
That is a really difficult question,
It's not for me.
isn't it?
No.
But actually, no, I don't have like a writing idol, but since we are talking about Murakami,
Mhm.
uh I do what I really, really admire with her, even though she is batshit crazy.
Yes.
I really love her for the fact that she does her own fan works and
Yes.
she's really unapologetic about it. And
Yes.
she has made me realize that, you know what, fuck it, I can also do that. So
Yeah. I
so
think
I admire that in her writing.
I think for me, I would want to be like somewhere in between like Fumi Yoshinaga and Maki Murakami, because I want to be really unapologetic, but I want like a little bit more sense behind it. Cause like as much as I love Maki Murakami, like there's a lot of gravitation that does just feel like an unnecessary fever dream. And don't get me wrong, I love unnecessary fever dreams, but like I'm like in my mid 30s now, like it wears on me differently. What are you doing?
I'm fighting Sansa with my for my cord
Also,
here.
I before we wrap up for real, the past tense of come, like ejaculate, hand gesture. What is that?
Come?
Yeah, past tense.
Yeah, come, right? Oh no! Like I'm sorry. I'm just thinking.
And
No,
you
I
were so
was
sure.
because I was thinking of the substance,
The
not the
action.
verb. Yeah, the
Yeah,
action
the
came.
verb. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Why?
don't ask.
No, I need to know.
No, you don't.
Also, since we are talking, like this is again going back to the last question, I feel like I would be a terrible BL writer if I didn't mention our queen. Uh, oh my god,
Call Yonada?
no, well her too. No, oh my god, because I have fused them together in my head. Takemiya Keiko.
Oh.
Because if it hadn't been for Takemiya Keiko and also Moto Hagio, but
Yeah,
Takemiya, we wouldn't have BL. So I'm just
true.
gonna.
That's fair. No, I had my smut Twitter open before I logged into the studio, and there was Emmett getting fucked by Volo, but this writer said cummed like instead
Oh
of
yeah,
came,
I've seen that.
and that's deeply upsetting to me. Like that, like
No,
no.
no.
Instant hatred.
That's
No.
Nakamura Shungiku or something. No. Nakamura Keiko.
No. Uh yeah, I don't like cummed.
I've seen that a couple of times,
I
and
don't like the more I look at it, I don't like cummed.
yeah.
Just use came.
Okay. How do you spell it? How do you prefer to spell it? With the U or like grammatically correct?
I still style with the U because I don't ever want to get the two confused.
Mm.
Because otherwise, then it feels like I don't know what I'm writing.
Yeah.
But I also like, I don't know. This is where I'm kind of like soft and like effeminate. I almost never use like come. Like I will use like flowery language, like spend or something like that. Now we're getting in. It's been 2 hours. We're finally talking about writing.
Yeah, this is what no, okay, but I want us to do like a second half where we talk more about like terminology and things because I have a lot of opinions and
Yeah, so
questions.
like I'm still kind of like flowery with that a little bit just because like the only word that comes to mind is vulgar, but like I say that like not as a judgmental thing, but like
Mm.
I don't like the mouthfeel of it. I don't
Yeah, but
like
I think for me it depends. It depends on the setting. It depends on the characters, and some
yeah.
characters are definitely vulgar, and some I write like
Yeah,
that on
absolutely.
purpose.
Yeah, like when Ryuzaki in Twittering Birds calls Yashiro a cum slut. Yeah,
Mm.
like he is a public toilet. He is a cum slut. Like that's just a canon fact.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So like it's not that I don't like it. It's just
yeah.
I
But
think
because I
also
will no
no,
go
go
on.
ahead.
No, because I will do this thing where sometimes I may have mentioned this, but like there are some things that is like words that I wouldn't use or phrases I wouldn't use. And then I'm like, okay, but this is not me. This is the character. Like,
Yeah.
I need to
And
get
I
out of my own head.
and I also realize how much of that is like when I started writing when I was like 14.
Yeah.
Because like we never like in the old days we never used like ejaculate or cum. Like we didn't do that when we were 14. We used like the floweriest language. It's like, oh, and his thick expenditure. You know, like we,
I did not know the word expenditure when I was 14. Don't.
uh, his
No, but it was like,
his milky release. You know, we were just
oh,
waxing
release,
poetic.
release was, yeah.
His spend, his release, his
And
dripping
then the whole, yeah,
arousal.
white flash, the whole I still do some of those, but again, it depends. It depends a lot.
Stars
And
whited behind his eyes. That's called having a stroke. If you ever orgasm and stars white behind your eyes, you have high blood pressure. That's a stroke.
okay, I have synesthesia, so this may be TMI, but I get these really weird visions sometimes because I have synesthesia. So I will have, there's this vision of a dining table, like a fully dressed dining table that I always see.
This is why we never record past 2 hours because we've relaxed enough and the true us comes out and it's horrible.
But I have no shame. It's nothing to be ashamed about. I'm
Is
just
it the Southern raising in me that makes me hesitate? Probably some English professors saying that if you rely on vulgar language, I don't think it's even that. I think it's just like I jokingly said mouthfeel, but like it's not terminology that I find very sexy, even in real life. Like, yeah, like if I'm fucking, I was like, oh, I'm gonna come on you. It's like, put that away. I'm
but
going
it's like it
home. Like I'm going,
yeah.
like
I'm
I'm
leaving right
yeah, like
now.
I'm leaving. Like it's like, oh, I'm gonna come on you. It's like, like I don't want like it's not terminology I would use in
But
real. It's
like
not something I would say to a partner.
no.
Like so I don't use it. I'm not necessarily like floral when I'm actually having sex. Like I'm not like, your rod, please give me your release. Like, no, I'm not that.
If you did that, the person would think you were having a stroke. Like,
Also, we would never have sex. If I ever like approached a guy and was like, "Oh, you're fully extended rod for me," like I hope he'd leave. I hope he'd leave.
but
I
men,
really, huh?
but men though, I mean, they
Oh,
are willing to
true.
take a lot.
That's true. My mom once said mouthfeel when describing something she ate over the holidays. My week was ruined.
I will say that when I hear that term, my brain is going to the gutter.
I
Uh,
hate that ContraPoints put that in my vocabulary
oh
because
my
it's such a
god.
perfect way to describe so many things.
Yeah.
You can blame ContraPoints for that and the whore
Okay.
makeup.
Okay. I will write it
Yeah,
down.
go tweet at Natalie Wynn saying
You. No.
my friend who
I
has
have
an unfortunately hot voice and great tits keeps saying mouthfeel. I don't know.
I have
I don't know what
I
to
have
do.
a lot of respect for counterpoints, so
I also have a lot of
I
respect for
will
her.
I will accept it.
But so yeah, like it's more of I I wouldn't say that in real life, but also like it's just grammatically incorrect. Like cummed isn't a word.
Yeah,
Cummed. It also just feels clunky.
it does.
Like you the line and even though you've cummed 4 times already, that's a clunky line. Just say you came 4 times.
Yeah.
Also,
Like
guys have this refractory period thing. He's not coming 4 times.
if it's fanfic, you're allowed to do whatever you want. It's
The
fine.
weird virgin train guy is not coming 4 times into a pocket pussy. Here I am talking about vulgar. I won't use vulgar language like cum. Oh yeah, the virgin train guy fucking jerking it into a pocket pussy.
Yeah, Amanda's never used vulgar language in her life. That's Oh my god.
I used bad mouthfeel to describe why I don't like bananas and I was judged. Well, because you used a phallic fruit. That's your fault. Like if you're gonna say this has a bad mouthfeel, like it has to be something that's kind of abstract.
Hmm.
I don't. We're gonna go. It's been 2 hours.
What? I'm enjoying. We're finally getting somewhere. I have, yeah.
He is not. He is a literal train nerd from Pokemon.
You
He
know,
is
you
not.
do, you can't judge someone's sexual performance just because they are a train nerd. He could be a
Yes.
train nerd with a lot of
And a
stamina.
stud. And a fucking stud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, according to headcanon, everyone in the gear station's just fucking each other, so
Yeah, there you go.
sure. Sure, I guess. He's gained immense stamina by dragging Volo out of the past and fucking him. What was that, ma'am?
No, that was my brain, because I'm not that familiar with these characters. And for a brief second, when you said Volo, I thought of the sheep Pokemon with the slightly
Wooloo?
similar sound. Yeah. But I realized that's not what you meant.
Please don't fuck the Wooloo.
I didn't! I didn't! I thought that's
Don't,
why I thought it was weird.
don't fuck the Wooloo.
I didn't realize we were gonna bring Pokemon bestiality into this. I am so sorry.
I mean, it's there.
I don't doubt it.
I've seen it.
Just
It's there.
listen, the first time I saw something like that, I was 12 and it has scarred me for life.
I was not 12. Uh, but it's still something that left a pretty bad taste in my brain. I still don't like it. I have like Shape of Water consent questions about it.
Hmm.
Can we
Sounds
help
like
you?
just script. What are you interested in the Pokemon porn? Do we need to do an exorcism, sweetie?
I'm not that Catholic. I can't do exorcisms.
Are you sure?
I mean, I can
I mean,
make holy water. I can give last rites. I can baptize. And I can wed people.
Well, it's more than what I can do. So I'm trusting you.
No, we're not. No, we're not fucking Lucario. No, bad.
Okay, but can we talk? Like, I no,
No,
actually, I
no, we
don't want
can't
to talk
eat
about it.
flowers. We
But
can't talk about it.
there, I mean, you know that bunny Pokemon,
Lopunny?
Baneri?
Oh,
Yeah,
Baneri.
when
No, Lopunny is the evolved form.
yeah, the evolved one. What the fuck? Someone made a choice with that
Oh,
one,
degenerates, all of
sir.
you. Degenerates.
I didn't.
Degenerates. No. So Pokemon Company released a life-size Lucario. So it's like I don't know what this is. Do you want it in inches or in centimeters?
Centimeters, or else I don't understand anything.
He's 122 centimeters.
Is that the one that's at the Pokemon Center?
Well, like they like released a plush
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I've seen
that's like a
I
life size Lucario. So he's like, yeah, he's like 122 centimeters, and everyone immediately was like, "Can you fuck it?" And Nintendo is just like, "Please don't fuck it. Please don't fuck it."
how did we get here?
You know how we got here.
How is my dining room table vision bad, but this is somehow acceptable?
I don't think it's acceptable. I don't want to fuck Lucario. I wanted
But
Sir Aaron from the movie.
you're the one who brought it up.
Listen, it's not my fault that I've been on the internet for a very long time and I have seen things like Eldritch horrors.
I have also seen things.
I'm still really mad at this line. Don't ever say you've cummed 4 times. And I know this isn't a language barrier issue. This is a native English speaker. You just made bad choices.
Do you ever think about like do you ever make like grammar mistakes or like spell something wrong and then it just haunts you for the rest of your life? Because I do.
No, because I change it.
Yeah,
Or
but
I
like I
find
mean,
or I find an in canon reason to rationalize it. So like one of my big writer things is I use passive voice a lot,
mm,
but I also write trauma riddled anxiety bags. So it makes sense that they would also speak slash process in passive voice.
yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm thinking about like that one time when I was writing a Facebook status and I misspelled laundry and I've been thinking about it like at least once a week ever since.
Um, no, because I tend to be more embarrassed about all the other things I've done on the internet,
Hmm.
like
No,
talking about fictional ejaculate.
I have no issue with that. My issue is that I'm all, you know, I pride myself in how I care about grammar and writing correctly, and then I make one mistake, and I'm like, well, then my life is
I don't
over.
have yeah, because like I'm really, really bad about writing like passive voice. Because like no one fucking taught me active versus passive. Just or I didn't care. I was asleep, I guess. I was I was taking a nap. I was sucking dick behind the weight room. I don't know.
That was in the slut face, I hear. That was in the hoeing around.
Yeah, I was sucking dick behind the weight room. I don't know.
You had a
When
weight
they
room?
yeah. This is
Yeah,
Texas.
of course.
Oh yeah, we
No,
had a
and then
huge weight.
when I was in the fifth grade, I remember insisting to my English teacher at the time, she was a substitute. It wasn't my actual English teacher. That with was written. I can't remember how I wrote it, but I remember that I had misspelled it, and I argued for 15 minutes that I was right. And
Oh, I'm lying. I do have one. When I was in like 7th or 8th grade, my brain couldn't process like the words that sound very, very similar. So like I had conflated flowing and following and
mm,
then minute with minute.
yeah,
Um I don't really meditate on those very much because I was doing a lot of other cringy shit back then. But like yeah, like I still get tripped up with that stuff sometimes, like minute versus minute.
mm,
Um and I'm glad that Google Docs is like it at least tries to learn you So if it sees that like you've made the same mistake over and over again, it kind of kicks in like, oh, this must be style.
Mm.
So it just like gives up correcting you. It's like, oh, you keep fucking up the same way, so I guess this is
I'll
stylism.
just allow it.
Well, because like
Thanks,
that
Google.
happens with directors sometimes, where it's like, oh, you
Mm.
keep making the wrong choice cinematography wise. I guess this is your thing.
I guess.
Because like Tarantino does it with foot shots, Sam Raimi does it with eye shots, Scorsese does it with mirrors. Like if you keep doing the same thing, like then it's stylism. If I keep writing disaster homosexuals that are unreliable narrators and speak in passive voice sex riddles, it's stylism.
Oh, good point.
Thank you. It's like
Uh,
Moulin Rouge. Uh, Defiantly, you
yeah.
definitely get me. I'm an idiot.
But and then there are those words like, and I mean, I like to give myself some, lenience because I am not a native speaker, and there are
I
so many words
am.
as we have noticed on this podcast where I will be like, "That's how you pronounce it," because I have read this word for 15 years, but I've never heard anyone say it. Like, do you know how angry I was when I found out that it was pronounced affidavit?
How did you think it was pronounced?
No, wait, affidavit?
Affidavit.
I don't know because I'd read it. I'd never heard it out loud. And then I was like, what? And there are so many of those. But but there are words that that I know and I know them, but I cannot confidently spell them unless I write it down as I spell it.
Oh, I didn't tell you about Sergeant Snappy, did I?
No.
So Sergeant Snappy came about when I realized that investigator had gator in it, like alligator.
Uh
So like interrogator, investigator, and like I'm an idiot. So my brain just kept imagining like a Walker Texas Ranger, but with an alligator. So I literally like mocked up a design of like a gator with like a sheriff's hat and a badge and a gun, and he's Sergeant Snappy.
That is so cute.
He's yeah, he's an investigator.
Oh my god, that is adorable.
I'll have to show you Sergeant Snappy. Uh, I am a native speaker. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I have family from Alabama. Bless your heart. I know.
Oh my god.
I have family from there. Also, if you didn't catch that, yes, I did extend my lipstick all the way into the corner of my mouth like a prostitute because you can't have a gap of pink if you're wearing red lipstick.
Learning something new every day. I don't wear lipstick, okay?
I
I
think
don't know
you
anything.
have great lip structure. You would look great with lipstick.
I don't like lipstick. I
Okay,
wear lipstick. I wear nude lipstick when I cosplay boys
it's so gay.
to have. Except when I cosplay Aster because then I have sparkly lip
That's
gloss.
so gay. That's
Yeah.
so gay. I don't really have
Well,
any nudes, but I'll do like a gloss occasionally, and like a glossy mellow just feels right.
oh yeah.
Like a
Okay, now I'm
glossy.
having thoughts.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up because it's been 2 hours. All right, Corolla, what are we talking about in a couple of weeks?
We are going to talk about BL academia and BL scholarship with Mr.
Mr. Doctor.
Doctor, Mr. Doctor, Professor Welker, James Welker, the
Mhm.
amazing scholar. We are very excited.
Mhm.
Very excited.
We are very excited. Uh,
Yeah.
this will be our intro into Pride Month. I have a secret project that I've been working on for 2 years that I'm finally going to try to release. You've seen
Oh
it.
my. Have I?
Yes, you have.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm really, really excited to have Dr. Welker on the show. Um,
Yes.
I'm excited to talk about BL scholarship and BL research. And I think, especially now, as Americans continue to go through a very, very rough time, uh, it's I think it's even more important to talk about queer studies
Yeah.
and the like and gender studies. So, if you ever look at our, episode listings, it's almost never random. There is usually a pretty decent amount of thought behind this. There's a reason why we're going back to our academic roots for Pride rather than this month we're going to talk about circle jerks. Um,
Although, good second, I guess.
it's my favorite thing about that is especially with American men that they will do almost everything but have dick and ass sex, but then refuse to acknowledge that they're gay. Like there is an
Mm.
entire subculture of like men giving handies to each other and like refusing to call it a homosexual activity. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like they have done almost everything but just put dick in ass. And like they'll go back to their girlfriends later and just be like, "Yeah, I was just hanging with the bros."
Hmm. With the bros.
Bros. Cuz that's what you do, right? I don't inhabit a born as male body, but like what?
I don't know. I mean, I stand by what I've said. You can have, quote, gay sex without being gay, but also, I mean, you can. Like, you know, it's called experimenting, okay? Like, sex is sex. It can feel good even if you're not actually attracted to that person, I think. I'm not
Judgment.
speaking from experience. I've only had sex with people I've been attracted to.
You've enjoyed sex?
Yes. What?
You've had a good time.
Okay.
We're going. Uh
Before we go, though, where can people support our writing?
oh fuck. uh,
We
oh
are
fuck.
talking about it, so we gotta.
Oh, oh fuck. Eh, hold on.
Here's
Yeah,
that panic again. I'm
there.
sorry, I couldn't hear you over your blaring imposter syndrome.
There. I put the link and you can find my work there. Say nice things, please.
Can you put my link because I don't have access to. I can't use the chat.
You have access to the chat.
You don't. I'm not allowed to type anything.
Yes, you are, because we've used it privately.
Yeah,
And then
but I'm not allowed to write in the.
this is where you can find Curl. Yeah, you do. And then this is where you can find Curla's stuff. Curl is the
Thank you.
much better author with the actual website. And what do you I mean stuff? And she has a little blog section where she'll talk about her feelings, and it's very, very cute.
You read my blog that I haven't updated for a year?
Yeah.
I was actually going to update it.
You have a whole
And-
section on the Yaoi Shelf. I read that.
yeah, and then I was
Yeah.
gonna write another one before this
Yeah, I
live,
read it.
but I didn't.
When I went through my sled era in school, I know most of the guys I hooked up with were actually precocious straight guys. Yeah, a lot of them. That was such man. High school in America was such a wild time.
So glad I never went.
No, you would be very popular.
I would hate it.
No, no, you'd be in the anime club with me and probably also a secret hoe.
Maybe, but I enjoyed my high school experience in Norway without dress codes and the fear of school shooters looming over me.
I mean, we only had one bomb threat when I was in school, and one guy brought a katana to school.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Very safe. Very safe, wholesome environment for me to later find out all the great places to hide when you're having sex in between periods. Thank you
Which
all
you
for
did not
listening.
enjoy, really.
It was high school. Guys don't know what to do with anything. It just everyone should go through like proper sex ed in the US because it's just not enjoyable for like at least a couple of years most of the time. You want to? Yeah, because it's Norway. I mean, we had a bomb threat once in the elementary, so they sent us to the church. We're not going to talk about how scary it was to be a student in America. Thank you all.
Thank
Follow the
you.
links. We will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for sticking out with us.
Thank you for being here for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye.